Alright, let's start with a question that might surprise you. Did you know that in 2026, one radio station alone reaches 1.3 million listeners every week? In an era where everyone's streaming music on demand, that number feels almost absurd, right? But here's the twist: radio isn't dead. It's just evolved, and nowhere is that more clear than in the world of urban contemporary radio. Today, we're breaking down the top 10 stations dominating this format, why their success matters, and what it reveals about the future of audio entertainment. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about Power 105.1 in New York, which sits at number 1. Now, I've always found it fascinating that a station that launched in 2002 is still ruling the game 2 decades later. But here's the thing: Power isn't just a radio station, it's a cultural institution. Its crown jewel, The Breakfast Club, isn't just a morning show, it's a national conversation starter. Hosted by DJ Envy and Charlamagne Tha God, this syndicated beast airs on 4 of the top 10 stations. Personally, I think this syndication strategy is genius. It creates a unified voice across cities like Houston, Philly, and Detroit. But wait, is that a good thing? On one hand, it builds consistency and star power. On the other, does it risk diluting local flavor? That's the corporate radio paradox we're all living in right now. Now, let's shift west to Los Angeles. Second place goes to Real 92.3, home of Big Boy's Neighborhood. Kurt Alexander, aka Big Boy, isn't just a host, he's a radio OG. 2 Marconi Awards, Hall of Fame status. The guy's a legend. But what makes this station's second-place finish interesting is how it contrasts with Power's approach. Real 92.3 feels more like a traditional radio success story, deep local roots, a host who's become synonymous with LA's vibe. It's a reminder that while syndication scales influence, there's still magic in the hometown hero. That tension between scale and authenticity? That's the secret sauce of urban radio's survival. Here's where things get even more intriguing. Atlanta's V103, a station that's been around since 1976, holds third place. Let that sink in. This station has survived almost 50 years in a format that's constantly chasing the next big thing. Their secret? The Big Tigger morning show since 2009. But wait, if radio's a young person's game, why does a decades-old station still thrive? Because Urban Contemporary isn't just about the newest singles, it's about community trust. Legacy stations like V103 are anchors in a chaotic media landscape. They're the auntie who knows everyone in the neighborhood, and, honestly, that's why they endure. Let's zoom out for a second. What does this top 10 list really tell us? For starters, iHeartMedia is basically the marvel of radio right now. They own 7 of these top stations. That's dominance, but also a warning sign. When one company controls so much of the airwaves, does it stifle diversity? Or does it create economies of scale that keep radio alive at all? Then there's the artist angle. The article name-drops Kehlani, Don Toliver, and Mariah the Scientist as new faces. Wait, Kehlani broke out in 2015. Are we calling 2026 the class of 2026 just to sound futuristic? Because in music terms, that's practically ancient history. But maybe that's the point. Urban contemporary radio isn't chasing hyper-niche trends, it's curating the soundtrack of a generation that values both nostalgia and the next hit. And how about the personalities? Dee Dee McGuire in Dallas, Sanaa G in San Francisco. These hosts aren't just reading ads. They're curators, tastemakers, and sometimes even more influential than the DJs themselves. Take DJ Khaled's old stomping grounds at Miami's 99 Jams. Even though he's long gone, the station's 54-year legacy looms large. It's like the radio equivalent of a dynasty. But here's the question: can radio stations maintain that legacy when the faces change? Or is the brand itself now the real star? Let me leave you with this thought. Urban contemporary radio isn't thriving despite streaming, it's thriving because of its differences from streaming. Algorithms can't replicate the chaos of a live morning show. Playlists can't match the local connection of a station that's weathered recessions, pandemics, and the rise of TikTok. So while Spotify and Apple Music fight for attention spans, these top stations are doing something radical. They're being human. Imperfect, loud, opinionated, and unapologetically rooted in the communities they serve. Maybe that's the real takeaway here. In 2026, radio isn't just surviving, it's holding up a mirror to the culture. And honestly, that mirror still reflects a lot of us.